Don't put your mouth on
My Lord, you have told me.
Look what you're doing, man. You know, stop putting the.
Welcome to the mother of all shows, Conversation with Nana Osagyefo. As usual, the great current affairs program with Pan-Africanism and the diaspora and touch, with a view to the motherland, Africa. What can I say? I'm so grateful to have my learned colleagues already lined up. Let me go straight and welcome Sir Offspring. Offspring, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Present, man, present. Give thanks and praise to all the family online, you know.
Yeah, great. So how's Brussels? How's Brussels doing?
Good.
Right.
No problem at the moment.
I just hope the Trump tariffs are not hitting Europe too hard.
No.
All right. Ron Lee.
Yes, give thanks, brother Nana. Come on.
Good to see. Good to see the full view, the full face now.
Yes, thanks. Come on, thanks. You know, it's a pleasure.
Great. So how is Jamaica? How is Jamaica so far?
Yes, nice, you know.
Respect.
Yes. Jamaica is
one love.
Yeah, it's cool, you know, the evening.
Let me welcome my good colleague in the person of Eugene. Eugene, how are you?
Yep.
I'm well, thank you, Uncle. I'm fine. How about you?
We're good. But it seems that you're far off your phone or something like that, Eugene.
Relax now, I'm doing something.
You got to bring your phone
I'm here
closer
with the phone.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
And then my learned colleague in the person of Teddy Amofa. Teddy, how are you?
Yeah, fine.
Great to have you on the show. Now, can you all help me join wish Teddy a happy birthday? He's a birthday boy.
Oh, yes, man. Yes.
Happy birthday, Uncle Teddy.
Yes, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Man. Oh, yes. Yesterday was mine, you know.
Mine is belated. Mine was 3 days ago.
Oh,
3 days ago.
Oh, yesterday was mine, you know.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, yesterday was mine. Yeah.
Okay,
Yes, well, Teddy.
Most High bless you.
Yes, thanks, man. Thanks. You know, it was yesterday.
Oh, that's good. So we've got some April veterans in the house. That's great.
Yes.
Great. Okay, so without wasting time at all, let's go and then quickly look at the issues that are happening.
Stop the jumping.
Yes, we're going to be looking at issues, but in relation to the Pan-African world and also the diaspora, that is people like us all across the globe, because it matters that we can find a holistic solution to the plight of Mother Africa. Yes, I know we've got one more joining us, and is it Obed? Okay, once I get that clarity, then we'll bring him on board, him or her on board. Yeah. So, Offspring, hello to Nanahima Afrakuma. How is she doing, Offspring?
She's good, man. She's good. Give thanks and praise. She's good.
All right. Okay, send our regards to her. Yes.
Yeah, man. Big more.
Great. Okay, so first of all, let's go straight and briefly look at some of these international issues that is also affecting those of us in the diaspora and also the motherland Africa. I'm talking about the President of the United States, Donald Trump, the tariffs. We know that it's escalated. Is back down on some of it as well. Canada, for instance, and then in Africa, how is the tariffs going to affect Africa and then Europe and probably the rest? Let's make it brief, and then we can move on to pertaining issues to the motherland. Let me go with my learned friend Teddy. Teddy, you're so far. Your view with the United States of America, Donald Trump's presidency, and with all these tariffs hitting everybody left and right. Your take on that?
Well, when it comes to the tariffs, I think Donald Trump comes across as a bully, and he has beaten more than he can chew. Um, when it comes to Latin America and Africa, yes, he can talk and we shiver. But I think when he took on the might of fellow advanced countries, then he realized that it's like stepping on the balls of a lion. And he never expected it that he's now been hit with retaliatory tariffs to the extent that now he is now forced into a tight corner and he's retreating. So he's now eating humble pie. He's made to eat his own words. Because of the tariffs, there is no win in a trade war. It's a lose, lose, lose for everybody. And I think he has to wear his thinking cap and think the unthinkable and put a stop to it. I know it's all to do with self-interest, but it will backfire on him if he doesn't halt the talk and the actions.
Okay. I'm still on you because you normally tend to follow these things a lot. Teddy, what about the market, or should I say the stock market crashing, and most of the continent also feeling it um, in relation to what Trump is doing? Do you think it's a strategy that probably is a reset of the American dollar, or probably is the right thing to do?
It's out of his hands. I think it's out of his hands. And the stock markets, they act on sensitive information, and because of that, you have a global giant like Apple. You had about $300 billion being wiped off of their stocks and shares, and you have ideologues in America setting the agenda, and I think it's backfiring gradually on them. You have Canada, the European Union, Japan dropping bonds, treasury bonds onto the market, flooding the market with American bonds. And what's going to happen is that America, Americans are being forced now to borrow inwardly, domestically, and that's going to affect the interest rates will be high. Companies will go bankrupt, and there'll be job losses. So it's a catch-22 for America. I don't think whatever he planned doing has backfired. That now he's seen the reality. Now he's paused for a thought, and he's now cutting back on the tariffs. Nobody's going to win this war, and America will be hit dearly than any other country in the West, if you ask me.
Okay, that's an interesting take there. Would any of you want to add a comment or two to what Teddy has said? Or yeah, go on. Okay, so
Yeah, I confirm. Yes, I confirm with Teddy.
yeah,
Because a few days ago in Japan and China, JD Vance, who is the vice president, he made a comment. He made a comment and a statement calling the Chinese peasants, and the stock their bonds. I think they're giving up their bonds. The Japanese also. So I think America at this moment is going down. Because they're releasing their bonds. They're not buying their bonds anymore. You know. So you find that the American is going down more daily, faster than even how it should be going. So I think I think Donald Trump and his vice president they shot themselves in the foot, by making these moves with tariffs, especially against Asia, and Euro Asia, it's a very wrong move I think they're making.
Yeah,
So
but
I confirm with Teddy, that yeah, they're going down, it's just a matter of when, but they're going down, you know.
okay, so you don't think there is any hidden strategy? This is to any of you. Any of you can take the question up. You don't think there's any strategy with the tariffs, and that maybe the Trump administration might come up with a surprise to all of us? You think this tariff is a no win for the administration?
I think it's China that's rather surprised everyone. It's China. China's response. The
Yeah,
America wasn't expecting it.
right.
America wasn't expecting the China's response at all because China has now also increased their tariffs to 125. So now, if you bite me, I bite you. It's dog eat dog. So it's the person who has the bigger bite.
Yeah.
Is going to.
I see. That's an interesting one there. Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, let's turn our attention to what is happening in the Pan African world now. And we'll be relating it to the diaspora because we are all in the diaspora and we all live in one world. With the tariff that has hit the rest of the world and the collapse of the markets, I mean, the stocks that crashed, we are all aware of that. What can Africa and Latin America really do so that when the superpowers or those developed countries with the big and huge markets try to, shall I say, affect the vulnerable Pan Africans and then the Latin Americans? What can we put in place now and be able to withstand some of these shocks? Offspring, what can the poor, the Pan African or the African countries and the Latin American countries, the vulnerables, what can they do to withstand all these sanctions and tariffs and shocks when it comes to the market?
All they have to do, is develop themselves, and work with what they have, because every country have something where they can develop from, and I think it's in the best interest of the people, for everyone getting to developing mode, because that carry the world, people who is farming and building things for the market,
Yeah.
So every country
Okay.
should develop themselves,
Yeah.
Don't depend on outside to develop for them, because outside can never develop their next country, if the country not develop for itself. So
That's
every
great.
country needs to develop for themselves, and don't think about the outsider,
Yeah.
You see me? Just like an example, like young China or him just getting action and just
Yeah.
developing country in farm, in industrial, in every way to make the country be strong. You understand? So people need to use what them have and don't think about what them don't have.
But will the rest, I would say the rest, but with the superpower, some of the superpowers allow Africa and Latin America to be free to grow their own economy? Is that possible?
Of course, of course.
Okay. Let me welcome one of our learned colleagues in the person of Godfrey Ege Asante. Godfrey, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nana.
Hey, I could see you are trying to challenge Teddy with your beard these days,
Oh,
They are my seniors and I'm learning from them.
Yes, we know that Teddy and of course Ron Lee are the you know. Anyway, Godfrey, Teddy and Ron Lee had their birthday this week. And so we wish them happy birthday as usual.
Yes,
Wow.
thanks very much.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yes.
it means they are April born, eh?
Yes. Go for them.
Oh, okay. I also had mine yesterday. I'm also 12 April. So yesterday was my birthday.
Exactly, man.
Forward,
Oh,
people, man.
actually,
Forward.
kudos, man.
I,
Like
so
you guys.
yesterday was my birthday. So I'm also
Oh,
an April born. So
yes.
so.
So basically, you guys have hijacked the whole show and the whole global program. Nice. Anyway, I'm sure that may the good Lord continue to keep you well, and
Yeah,
may
man.
may He also
Secure
may
our
sustain
life, make it live
all your
longer,
endeavors, and may you continue to grow, make millions, and look after the vulnerable. Yes. All right. So the birthday, guys. Look, your present is already on the way. Yeah, we've got British Airways delivering your presents for you. So Godfrey, expect your present. Ron Lee in Jamaica, expect your present. And Teddy
Oh,
in London will send your present by Uber. So,
man.
all right. So at least let's have a bit of humor and stress down a bit. Too much issues across the globe with all these wars and all that tariffs and all that sanctions and all that. Anyway, so we've just looked briefly at the sanctions, the tariffs. We also saw the market crashing, and we see what happens, what unfolds. I was asking the question how Africa and the Latin American part of the world that are looked upon as the poorest. But Kwame Nkrumah said that Africa is not poor. It is the people that are poor. Same with Latin America. They are not poor. It's the people that are poor. My question,
The mind of the people. They need to enrich their mind, and enrich where they are live. Use where you have. Don't think about where you don't have. Use where you have.
okay, so
And develop. And
Eugene has been quite a bit. Eugene, uh, you think Africa and the Latin Americans can outwit the forces that sometimes suppresses them and come out and be self-reliant and be able to have their own
It depends.
financial system?
It depends. So first of all, I think the agenda or the motives of tariffs have to be established. Um, the motive of America doing this is either to maximize their profits on trade or to cut ties with certain nations economically. So relating that to Africa, already Ghana, the tariffs are very, very high. Importation tariffs are very, very high. Exportation tariffs are very, very high. Yes, it is possible for Africa and the Latin Americas to be able to stand on their own, but it depends on the kind of leaders that stand before the battlefront, the kind of leaders that go to the United Nations and all these organization bodies to represent us. So, like what Lee was saying, it is the liberation of the mind. You can be rich and still be poor if you don't have the capacity to reason or to visualize the future from a different perspective. So, it is possible. It depends because Africa is said to have natural resources that we export. So if they are increasing tariffs on we trading with them, we to our exportations, our cocoa, our timbers, we should also accurately put tariffs on it to make it seem very important for them to know that if you put in a certain action, there is a possible reaction or a reciprocation to your action. So yes, it's possible. Then again, it depends on the kind of leaders and the kind of people that stand at the battlefront or are in charge of us as a country and a nation.
So before I go to Godfrey, let me ask all of you. Anybody can step in. But do you think Africa? I get the salient points that you made, and I think Africa has so much resources, and
Right.
Africa can really reciprocate in the tariffs, because we all know that the U.S. President Donald Trump has hit Africa and the rest of the world so hard with the tariffs as well. So everybody has been hit with the
Can I
tariffs.
interject?
Go on.
Yeah, as upstream said in last week, Africa don't need anyone, we don't need the West. What we need to do is unite and trade. You see, BRICS, this is where BRICS comes in now with Russia, um, uh, all of these countries, Brazil, China, India, South Africa. And then you have other nations now who is members now of BRICS. Now, what these people need to do is to unite. Africa must start to trade amongst themselves by African and not looking outside of Africa, but to support and buy Africa. That is what China do. China is buying China. You understand? It's people. So Africa need to not look to buying foreign or imported goods, but to produce and manufacture and buy their own products. As I say, these countries, BRICS already is showing that, okay, the economy of BRICS is bigger, the GDP is bigger than that of America and even the NATO nations there. You understand? So if they continue to trade amongst themselves, I think they'll survive it, because these sanctions that they're imposing on Russia and China and the other rest of countries, they survive them and they outlive them, they outlive their sanctions and they're thriving, you know. So what Africa needs to do is to, like I say, my guy, as my brethren say here, it depends on who, you know. So Traore, we have to call his name because he's making such bold steps of manufacturing and
Basta.
certain things, you know. So if the people in Africa now can see how important they are in the global market, because they have all the resources, I just say Africa don't need the West. Africa definitely don't need the West. The West need Africa more than anything else. And if anyone should go down, I know Africa is not going down into this global financial thing, because Africa is on the rise now. If you're down, you cannot fall. You can't
Yeah.
go, you cannot fall if you're down. You're already on the ground. You only can rise. Yes, So
No
yeah,
more
so this is it. Africa need to unite and buy their own goods.
Yeah.
Manufacture their own goods and buy and trade amongst the BRICS nations.
Ron Lee, let me put it to Godfrey. Godfrey, now that after some of the salient points Ron Lee is made, do you think the African mindset that believes that everything European, everything American is the best, and that can they really go into their own shelves like China did? Remember the Tiananmen Square? I think some of us might remember. It was all over the news. And can Africa go into its own shelf and rebuild and recreate before coming back like China did? Is it possible? Godfrey.
And
It's a difficult.
sometimes I decided not to talk about these things because our leaders has failed
But
Africans
how can you
because
not talk about these things with your beard growing to become Albert Einstein? Come on, man. Talk about it. We are listening.
it's Nana. It's because it looks like I don't know whether afraid or something like that. Because if you want to become a resilient economic country, there are
Yeah.
certain things that you have to do. You have to take strong decisions. You have to make sure the people are financially and those kind of. But it looks like our leaders can't take strong decisions, as my friend was saying. There are certain things that we should rather ban them or impose more taxes on those items, so that it will prevent our people to import all these things into the country. But our leaders are failed to take strong decision, because when you go to these developing countries with these financial sound countries, there are so many decisions that Nana, you can say, or you can testify to it, that there are so many decisions, like what Trump did recently doing, imposing bigger tax on importation. It's like we the Africans can't take strong decision. That's why I always say we are economically poor, because we are not taking a strong decision to ban certain things, to make sure.
Afri, we've got Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso setting an example to the rest of the world. So there are people there in Africa, probably they haven't got the opportunity and the chance to take over the mantle. And maybe their time will come. Let me, go on.
Nana, I always think these strong people that we are talking about, or we are referring, I don't know why they always come from the military side. I don't know whether it's the training or something like that, because all these people making up or taking up or giving us these strong decisions are from the military side. Their background is from, but these civil people or these are politicians, very weak, because they are in the same bed with these people, begging them for funds and other stuff.
Yeah, Godfrey, so, I'm not cutting you. I'm interjecting to make the conversation so sweet as it's going now. You know, the point you made with the military as to civilians. Do you also think, or don't you think, the panelists and my very good learned colleagues, do you think probably the civilians tend to have a cozy life with the land cruisers and all, but these military guys, they've been in the bush and hard training, see the war front, sometimes even in trenches and all that. And those with conscience, sometimes they come, and when they are able to take leadership, I'm not talking about the corrupt ones like Abacha and the rest, but the likes of what we are seeing at Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore type. Because it seems that the civilians, they become so relaxed, comfortable. They haven't seen any hardship. The hardship they've seen is probably the 1982-83 hunger that came to some part of Africa.
Can I interject?
Yeah, go on.
All right. As I said before, Africa has no power where it is coming on. Where it comes these democratic nations, so-called democratic nations in Africa has no power because they have no military power. And why Libya was one of the strongest economy in Africa at the time is because they had military power. You understand? South Africa, you have Ramaphosa right now. He is just like a front man, but is the military, the white man, he has the military power in South Africa. And that is what keeps South Africa to where it is at this moment. Now, Traore, in his intelligence, know that without military power, you cannot have the handle that you have in Africa. You understand? So you find that even these the ECOWAS them is against the Sahel. See, because the ECOWAS, I think they are puppets for the Western people, and they get their cut and their share out of it, and they're protected by the Western people. So they take this money that they should a lot and invest in their own people. They take it for themselves because they have the West. They have to give the West their cut and their portion. And that is the reason why they would like to even get rid of Traore so they could go back, because he's standing in their way. These people who are puppet leaders, Traore and the other guys them in the Sahel, is standing in their way. So they'll do anything to get them out of the way so that the so-called slave master can have back their position of economically slaving Africa. But as I said, without military power, Africa cannot stand. They cannot make the decisions that they want to make on their own because they are cowards, because they has no military power to back them. So that's the reason why Traore and his brethren, they had to take the stance that they take in the Sahel. And it may look like a military rule, but it's not really necessarily military. It's only that they have to have military power in order. You see, when Gaddafi gave up his military power, what happened to Gaddafi?
Yeah,
You understand?
Robbie, points
Yeah.
taken. Let's look at
Yeah.
what Teddy has to say, because I know Teddy has diverse views when it comes to these things. Teddy.
Um, if we say military, we've not had just say some aspects of military, but not in military in general. Because in the 80s and in the 80s we had military coups all over the place, and the militaries were just as worse as the civilians. Corrupt. They come in as moral apostles, and they siphon and they kill people who speak up. So the point is I think the problem is simply to do with our economy. If we get the economy strong, if the economy is on the right footing, the rest will foot in place. I think our problem is that we haven't deep. How should I put it? We need novel ideas when it comes to our natural mineral resources. You can't just sell the raw materials. If you look at a country like Nigeria, why did Shell move out? Shell was making money buying. Nigeria was selling their oil to Shell, and they were buying it back when it was refined. When that country had a refinery, Shell just left the country. Why? Because their source of money was cut. So the point is, we have to get our economy strong. And secondly, we have to learn. I always say we should stop lamenting. Stop the idea of saying, how to call it, we are being exploited. The West are imperial. The West, that has been their stock in trade. They will not give up it's all to do with the language is self-interest, preservation of self-interest. That has been the stock in trade of the West throughout history. They will fight, they will go to wars, they will exploit, they will do everything. The point is, can I finish? The point is, we have to learn. China and Asia, they realize all these things. It's happening to them. What they were exploited, but they sat down, think the unthinkable, how to penetrate, how to beat the whites at their own system, and they succeeded. Now look at the electronic industry, the electronic cars. When they started, they were being mocked. The West were mocking them, calling them names. Today, look at China. For the last 10 years, their electronic cars are the leaders. China started quietly. How did they start? Piracy. They started with piracy. They kept quiet. And that's where Africa has a problem. Africans, we talk too much. You don't reveal your secrets.
That's what our leaders have been doing.
Exactly. You don't reveal your secrets. If China had told the West that they will exploit them with economic piracy, the West will never come there and invest there. Quiet diplomacy. Learn. You see, if Gaddafi had kept quiet about his Africa vision of having one currency, if he had kept quiet and engaged people behind the scene and not in public, he would still be alive. You don't shoot yourself in the foot by telling the West what you want to do.
With the salient point that you are making from that angle, if Gaddafi had kept quiet and he gets eliminated quietly,
I'm
making a point. Who is also going to know that because of his ideas and all that.
No, no. What I'm saying is
Need to be a bit loud sometimes. Not
what
all
I'm
the
saying. No, what I'm
sometimes.
saying is ideas, such ideas that will move the country forward, it should be kept within the confines of close people you trust. That
I
is what
get
China did.
Teddy, you're
China,
not
that's
getting.
what
Let me
that's
make
what
a point. Let me also make a point. I'm interjecting. We are interjecting. I think that the way sometimes we look at China, that they borrowed most of the creativity and arts and ideas from the West. Sometimes I tend to differ a bit because when you look back in history, China was quite developed in terms of the, dynasties, various dynasties that they've had and all that, until the Opium War, and we know what happened, and Hong Kong changes and all that. So it's not that some countries don't have the brains to put things together and that everything has to come to the West and all that. I think that I get where you are coming from, though. But I think the whole world also has brains and things can be done. I think that people are prevented to move forward in terms of development, and the controllers of the powers would like to have the situation as it is, because I believe that if Africa progress under Kwame Nkrumah wasn't stemmed in the 66 school, Ghana and the rest of Africa would be a paradise. Because if in the 60s, Ghana had a nuclear facility, and its glare is there in Accra. When you go to Kwabenya, it's there. This is the 60s, and had the biggest man-made, what do you call it, dam in the whole world, which was Akosombo Dam. And then it was manufacturing everything. So you could tell that can be done. You understand? It can be done. But there are powers that not allowing it. And we cannot just turn a blind eye and say that, oh, those powers, in spite of those powers, we should just, I think we need to be mindful of those powers. Even if you keep quiet, they have agencies and spies and technologies. They will know what to find a strategy. Let me go to Offspring. Offspring is kept quiet a bit. Offspring.
All right, my big brother. As a big brother saying about see the military system. We always remember, see all the military system where it are run in Africa, Remember that the military system was controlled by the West, by by the white people, as well them call themselves, the pale face.
Yes.
So most of the military power used to operate through Africa was controlled by them. So we couldn't get no good result because it was coming from a corrupted system.
Yeah.
Where the mafia move under control and orders. It's just like even a little Jamaica, Still controlled by England corrupt system, but yet still we can come to England as Jamaica visa free. We have to buy a visa, and yet still England government run Jamaica. You understand? So the government system, the army where they run in Africa, was controlled by
engineer. I think he's all right. He sorted it.
Yeah.
That's been
all of the army system
engineer,
them that move corrupt, and couldn't get no good result from them because there was control by the West and America and these people. So we couldn't get no good result. Just like how you see Charo come and do him thing, he have no one that dictate to him. He might live for the people that I'm country and I do the truly right things where him should and know say boy that is the right thing to do. But the other rest of army them under control. So we as the people that in Africa couldn't get no good result from them. Them have say boy them army man are some bad army man, but you see army people are well disciplined and trained people, trained to do the right thing, And when you see an army man get out of line, that means he must shot himself in his own foot. You understand? Because army people should do right by the country and the people. That's the purpose of them. Do right, not doing wrong. If the army personnel are do wrong, him under a different control. You understand? So what Charity is a good example, and the other brothers them are joining, you understand, to make Africa strong. And you see, African people should start trading amongst them one another and build them one another, because we have enough people in Africa to eat the food we plant there. And anything we build in Africa, you have enough people in Africa to use it also. You understand?
Okay.
So we must start make life easier for ones and ones in Africa. Just like we see Charity do, and make sure everyone get a slice of the cake. If I want cake, the whole of we have 1 cent tonight. You understand? And
Okay.
that's the way it goes.
Nice one, Offspring. Eugene, are you still there? Have we got Eugene or we've got Obed?
They're all there, man. They're all there on screen.
Yeah.
Eugene?
Yeah, I'm here, Uncle. My internet was messing up a bit, but I'm here.
Okay, yeah. Because I think you went quite a bit.
My internet was messing up a bit, but I'm back now.
Yes, I think.
Yes, Uncle, I can hear you.
Ghana Black Star.
My internet was messing up a bit, but I'm back now.
I heard you. I'm just making a point that don't worry about the internet. It's going to be much better because I understand that the new government has brought such a good luck to the facilities in Ghana. Black Stars are winning matches, and Ghana is coming back. The Ghana internet is also going to improve well. The good omen of the new president, we hope he doesn't mess it up. We pray that continues, and then trickles down to the internet facility. Okay, Eugene, anything you want to add to what?
So I feel like with what is happening in America and all over the world, this is my assumption. If there's going to be a third world war counting onwards, it's not going to be a war like a fight. It's going to be an economical war between nations, and it has already started. So I wish and I could say that in as much as people like Africans living in the diaspora, the Africana movements of Pan-Africanism, everybody should move back home. Everybody should get something to do here that is industrious so that we can build the Africana movement in such a way that people wouldn't even need to travel outside for these white nations to even flex us. People wouldn't even need to even think of importation of cars and vehicles and second-hand clothes and unneeded stuff because we can reproduce or we can produce those things right here. So I feel like we can talk about the change, but the practical aspect of the change begins with the people that have gone out there, are in the diaspora, and have advanced in knowledge and skillfulness to bring it back home and train other people to have that likewise mind like themselves. I don't know if my point is very clear.
Okay, that's a salient point.
Cuts across.
Will the powers once again allow that to happen, or do we need an Ibrahim Traore to head the whole of the African Union, and so that those irrespective puppet leaders and other governments can be headed by Ibrahim Traore as the head of the
that's
AU,
probably
bring that transformation.
That's probably the last. That's so probably the last resort.
Your idea of the diaspora, all of us moving back to Africa, can be real, because under some of these regimes, I doubt if many of the diasporas will want to go home. But if like Ibrahim Traore doing the talking and walking the talk,
right?
I think
that's why it comes back. Can I interject? That's why it comes on.
Teddy is yearning to rebuttal some of the points. Teddy.
Um, I'm coming.
Yeah,
You continue. I'm coming. I'll just end this phone call 1 second.
Okay, then let's go straight to what we call
Yeah.
it. Godfrey, yeah.
Yeah, let me interject. Yeah, yeah,
Godfrey,
as I said,
yeah, the point, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah, Nana.
Yeah.
yeah, as I said,
I
let
can
me
hear you, Nana.
interject.
Okay, go on.
Oh, as what I was saying,
Africa, as we
or what
say,
I
the
said earlier on,
stream.
that
Oh, sorry.
we Africans need strong leadership. It's
Not
only
strong,
the strong
proper
leadership
leadership.
and
That's what I was going to interject and
strong,
say.
commitment and strong words that will help the economy of the economical of these African countries. Other than that, without strong leadership, then we cannot survive because the Europeans and
That's the
other
good.
people, that's what they did. They took strong decisions,
So,
strong leadership
so what about the
to
point I'm
survive.
making? Should we make Ibrahim Traore the head of the African Union and leave those puppets?
Yes.
The other
Nana,
Yes, yes,
Yes.
Nana,
because he's
Nana,
doing,
he has
he's
started
doing.
it on a good note, but as
Yes.
to finish it,
Carry.
is a different thing
Why
altogether.
are you
You
doubting
can.
Ibrahim Traore's
What
finishing?
is,
Oh, I'm not doubting. I'm just hoping he can succeed.
But
Recently, I
he
was just
he's a
reading.
great example. He's the greatest example right now. What is
the greatest
happening? You see,
example.
if the head of the
Because
stream is
the
dirty,
Europeans and other Western world are pursuing his ideas and other stuff. So as you can achieve your dreams or you succeed, it's a different all thing together. That's why I was just saying I do follow his I am someone that I follow
Eddie, Eddie
Burkina
has
Faso
not.
Carry a great one.
Okay,
Carry
God.
is
because the other
guiding.
time I realized he make a post saying that he is not afraid to die and he's ready to die because this Western world they are not going to allow you to do what you are doing. That's why
Yeah,
I'm always saying that the African leaders should
he,
come together, unite.
he gonna make it.
As we unite,
ah,
we can
Carry
penetrate.
gonna make it.
But as
I'm
one
sure
person
he
try
gonna
to
make it.
champion this cause, he will find it difficult because they will not allow you to do that.
He
they
gonna
don't
make
want to
it.
give up the power.
He gonna make it. But
I
Carry gonna
spoke
make it.
this several,
Yeah.
I said this several weeks ago that these virgin that is defending the West so-called diplomatically, they don't want to give up their power. You know, as I said, because for Africa to become one, somebody has to give up their power. You cannot have 10 presidents or 52 presidents in one country. It's gonna have to be one person. Now, as we say, if the head of the stream is dirty, all the rest of the water is gonna be dirty. And this is what is happening with the African leaders. Most of them is corrupted. You
Very
know,
corrupt.
they don't, they're very corrupted, and this is what is happening. It's affecting Africa very much. But the one
Yeah.
that come forth and is very transparent is Traore. He's walking
Carry.
the walk, he's talking the
Sure.
talk, and
Do
that's
Exactly.
it.
why things are
Do it like one.
making this transition and this changes is happening in our very eyes. But unless these guys decide, say, okay, we're gonna give up our power and them selfishness so that
Carry.
they can serve as governors just like because you can't have
America.
52 presidents to rule one country. You have to have one president, and I think this Virgin is the most capable and competent Virgin at this moment in time,
Carry.
who is
Carry.
able to can put his foot forward and make very strong decision as a leader. But the rest for me, they need to
The
go.
weak.
They're very
The weak.
corrupted and they have
Weak.
too much self-interest that is not within the interest of the development of Africa
And the,
and their
and
own
the
nation.
people.
So
The
these
people.
people has to go and make space for new people who is
Man.
able to do the work and do the talk.
I'm still
Yeah,
saying,
man.
Walk the talk.
Brownlee, I'm staying with you because everybody's going to have just a minute for us to round up.
No.
Tomorrow, the whole week, up to the Easter period, will be coming live so that we can cover a lot of the things that has happened. There are some few things that has happened across the motherland and across the globe. We will need to be talking about them. And so just give me your 1 minute run up, Ron Lee, since you have the floor, so that I can move on to the others, and then we can all say a very, very farewell to each other. Yeah,
Yeah,
Ron.
as I was saying. Yeah, as I was saying.
I have
Yeah,
the clock in front of me. 1 minute.
yeah, yeah. As I said, these leaders have to give way and they be more practical. This talking. That's why this virgin don't talk. If he talks, he accomplishes what he says he's gonna do. And this is what giving him the mileage and the love of the people because he's making accomplishments. And until these leaders who are so-called been there for 20 years, 30 years, they have no accomplishment. The accomplishment is their big payero and their big this and their big that, which is the people's money. So they have to give way now and decide to step aside and make somebody who is more practical handle the thing. Yeah,
Okay.
more competent. Yeah,
Well done. That's under a minute, really. Let me go
yeah.
to okay,
Let me
let me
check it.
go to Eugene before I go to I'm not going
So,
according to the screen. I'm choosing and picking.
so,
So Eugene, yeah, 1
so,
minute.
so, if I can get what everyone is saying, I feel with the rightful leaders or one rightful leader leading Africa as a continent, just like the United States of America, the concept of Kwame Nkrumah's ideology of Pan-Africanism was the United States of Africa united as one. If we are able to do things right, I feel the United States will rather, instead of being America, would have been the United States of Africa. So it depends on the leadership and the mindset and the motives of the people. Thank you.
Okay, that was also done under a minute. Well done, Eugene. Okay, let me go to Godfrey. 1 minute.
Nana,
Yeah.
as my brother was saying, is Africa ready to practice Pan-Africanism? That's the question. Are they ready? You see, when someone is not ready to practice, how can you? Yeah, what I'm saying, the Africans are not ready to unite. That's the whole issue. They are not ready to unite because even what Tuari is doing right now, some of the Africans are even against what he's doing. They are not even running behind him. So that's why I said I sometimes don't want to talk about it, because when the change doesn't come from anybody, the change comes from you as a person. And I'm seeing the Africans are not ready to change. They are not ready to run behind each other, and that's our biggest problem. We are not ready to run behind each other. So Nana, I'm just wishing or waiting a day that Africa will come together as one people and run behind each other so that we can succeed and we can penetrate, as we are all saying, because there are so many resources that we have that the Western world doesn't have,
Okay.
that we can
So
base on
Godfrey,
our resources to survive.
You have only 1 minute. Thank you so much for that. You can bring the rest of the points on the next show. Yes. So let me go to one of our birthday boy. Birthday boy, Eddie. We just finished with one birthday boy, Godfrey. Godfrey, happy birthday once again. A belated one. Godfrey, let me go to Teddy. Another belated birthday. April born.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Well, for me, yes, a good leader who has the economy at heart. I always say the economy, and also we've missed one thing: the rule of law, which is supposed to be sacrosanct. The rule of law is like having a strong foundation when building a house. We can say all these things Pan African, but the rule of law is supposed to be sacrosanct. If you can't respect domestic laws, how can you how can you respect the rule of a whole continent? and go together. I think we must put our house in order first before we think of that big dream.
Okay, thank you so much, Teddy. You did it under a minute. Well done, birthday boy. Another, let's go to our good friend. Hey, I haven't forgotten you, Rowan Lee. Another belated birthday to you. Let's go to Offspring. Offspring, if you can cap it up for us.
Yeah, man,
Respect
you
you.
go now. I tell you, deep down in my bottom of my heart, you know, and when I talk to myself alone. I talk to my brothers and sisters them in Jamaica, you know, and all around the country, you know. You see, a long time we are wait to see a leaders like what Charity do, you know. You understand? To get the interest to come to Africa. Because you see, most of Jamaican people, to the leaders, them always see anger situation and run the country. We never want to come home. But see, when we see Charity, do now, we feel happy and joyful to know so boy we are come home into oneness. We know so boy we are counted. We are not count out. So you see, I give thanks and please to Charity. And then now I go kill him. Because he have a mission to do and have to complete. And to go shame the world. Because you see, my elders them always tell me good is always over evil. So evil can't overcome and trample good. You understand? And see, Charity start off good and him is doing good and better and best. You understand? So
All
him
right.
have complete his mission. Yeah,
All
and
right.
make we
Thank
come
you.
home.
Thank you, Offspring. And that is brilliant, brilliant, guys. You've done
Love
so
Charity,
well.
man. I love him. Love him.
Let me once
Fully
again,
active.
a big shout to the birthday guys, the April boys who have hijacked
Yeah,
the whole show.
really appeared strong.
Yeah,
Enough
man,
love.
thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah, man,
Enough
thanks. You
love,
know.
Right,
brother.
so
Give me more.
belated birthday to you,
Yeah,
Lee,
man, thanks very much. Yeah, man.
Offspring,
One more
again,
year added to my
Lee,
life, you know?
and
Yeah.
to the big man himself, Sir Teddy
Happy
himself.
birthday, brothers, them, you
It's
know.
been a
Enough love.
pleasure. And let me also thank our Leonard colleagues in the person of Eugene. And
Yeah.
then
Grateful.
brilliant Brussels man, where the whole European head office is, Brussels. Talking of Offspring,
And
it's a
don't forget,
pleasure.
don't
And
forget the great engineer school, you know. Big up school for doing the engineer work. School, father school.
let's big up Screw. Yes,
Yeah, man, father
Yes.
Screw
school.
man.
Enough love,
Yes,
Respect
man.
enough
You
you,
love.
know?
respect the
Enough love,
Screw.
school.
All right, so all our global and world audiences across the globe, our audiences around the globe, we want to thank you for sticking with
Thank
us.
you, audience.
It's been
Thank
a
you.
pleasure. The
Yeah,
show
man.
continues unabated. The conversation with Nana Osagyefo, a link to Pan-Africanism, the diaspora, for the betterment and well-being of humanity. And also, we need to look at Africa can have one leader who can make a difference, like the United States have a federal system with one president with 50 states. Africa can also have a similar, or
Yes.
choose a European system where all the presidents can maintain their countries, but then we can also have that African Union and have that leadership. And on that note, the struggle continues unabated. Aluta continua.
Continua. Yes. Blessed love. Yes. Luta continua. That's it.
Later continue.
My soul, it is well,